We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. Boxing Ego unpack. Yeah. We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. Devin Haney and Bill Haney exposed by the Normans. Brian Norman Sr., he gets active and he explains the games, what type of games being played, how's it going down. Stars to the stars, and I got to know now. The games being played, he exposes the VADA testing. Everything you need to know will be in this video. So I want to break down my thoughts. Stay to the end of the video for my thoughts. I will let you listen to what was being said, and then I'll just give my breakdown. Now, Brian Norman Sr. did a interview with Mill City Boxing. The link in the description. Check out the video. In this, Brian Norman exposes some heat about what him and his son have had to go through because of the Haneys playing games. So I need y'all to hear some of that, and then we'll continue. Let cook up. Roll the clip.
Which I try to do, and I know it's never simple for people, because for people who don't want to understand, but this is going to say for the logical people who want to hear this. In per the terms of Turkey Al-Sheikh, the man who's calling the shots, the man who put the fight on, the man who's paying us these multi-million dollars. That's the Haneys and the Normans. This per him, 8 weeks worth of VADA testing. 8 weeks worth of.
Boom. So you guys heard right there from Brian Norman Sr., this fight per Turkey in ring, Riyadh season, that whole umbrella, what they got going on, was only supposed to have 8 weeks of training, nothing more, nothing less. Then the Haneys come out and start suggesting.
I thought my son should.
They start suggesting that, you know, more testing is needed, this, that, and the third. Let's go. Let's keep going.
In per the terms of Turkey Al-Sheikh, the man who's calling the shots, the man who put the fight on, the man who's paying us these multi-million dollars. That's the Haneys and the Normans. This per him, 8 weeks worth of VADA testing. 8 weeks worth of VADA testing. Not Devin Haney, Bill Haney and Devin Haney, they're a team. Devin Haney Promotions, Bill Haney, Devin Haney, they were the ones that were fearful. They are the ones that are afraid. They asked for extra testing. We agreed to extra testing. In fact, we agreed to double the 8 weeks. We agreed to 16 weeks. 16 weeks of testing. My son is going on vacation next week. All my son asked is, hey, but we can start when I come back. It wasn't a big deal. It wasn't a big thought. It was really nothing to it. You feel what I'm saying? Bill Haney, mind you, let's put this out there real quick. My son signed up and he told them that he was going to start August the 1st on July the 10th. They sent that out on July the 10th. We're going to start August the 1st.
Now, you got to pay attention to this part. He says, basically, Bill Haney concocted a scheme. Stay scheming. Ninjas wanna end with me. He concocted a scheme. He says this was public knowledge. They were only supposed to have 8 weeks of testing per Turkey. I think Turkey might be even paying for the 8 weeks, right? Cool, no problem. Brian Norman was going on vacation August 1st. He let them know that. He explained that to them. And he told them that July 10th, I think he said the date was. And nobody kicked up dust. Nobody made it an issue. Nobody had a problem with it. But then several days later, over a week later, he'll say, all of a sudden, Bill was like, more testing. What do you guys have to hide? And this whole propaganda. This is nasty, Work.
Now all of a sudden on July the 18th or 19th, it becomes a big deal that he said August the 1st. 8 days later, and it becomes a big deal that he said August 1st. Why all of a sudden it become a big deal when you got the email you saw it before? Why was it always a big deal now? No. Why you gotta wait to then? You didn't say that when he first said. What happened between them 8 days to make you say, no, we need to do it right now? I'm missing it.
Now, I like this because he's saying when my son sent the letter informing and declaring that we wouldn't start testing until August 1st, right? So this is what I try to tell you. Bill Haney is a shapeshifter. He's always like plotting and trying to find these like little loopholes, if you will. And in this case, it looks bad. I mean, most cases it looks bad, but right here it looks bad because you had, Brian Norman is telling you, you had 8 days from where it was declared to kind of come up with something. And then you start putting out to the public, yo, why don't you take the test? Take the test. What do you got to hide? And then insinuating that he's juicing. Now, I think that's a great point. That's a great point. Like, let's say July 1st, right? July 1st, you declare, I'm signing up for drug testing. It'll start August 1st. The fight's not till November, blah, blah, blah. Cool. You wait till 8 or 9 days, like July 9th or so, right, to complain about the start date. That looks suspect. Because if you really had a true complaint, like I truly thought somebody was trying to get one over, it would have been a complaint from day one. So July 1st, when the paperwork comes in that they're trying to wait, it would have been an issue from day one. But this is how Bill operates. Bill is trying to find the next angle and storyline. So it probably took him the week to come up with how he was going to try to spin it.
You feel what I'm saying? We're doing over and above double what Turkey Alice Sheik asked for. I personally said, bro, look, the man is like a I don't even want to make this comparison, but it's real. The man is like a battered woman. He's like a scorned lady. He paranoid or whatever else. Just take the test, man, and show him and shut him up or whatever. Bill, I'm gonna move on their time because we already conceded to the double testing. He had already conceded it. You feel what I'm saying? But I know B ain't got nothing to hide. He know he ain't got nothing to hide. You feel what I'm saying? So like, B, man, you ain't got nothing to hide, bro. Just do it. You feel what I'm saying? So again, thank God he did it. He went ahead and did it or whatever else. So I knew it was gonna end up this way. It's not about bending the knee or nothing else. It's just that some of the people, it was a no-win situation because some people go, oh, you ready to go get cleaned up. So those people who said he had to go get cleaned up, are you apologizing now? Are those people apologizing now that he did not go get cleaned up, that he haven't even went on vacation, that he signed up before, just like he said, because it wasn't a big deal, or we told y'all it wasn't a big deal? Are those people apologizing now? No. Now they're saying he paid it just like we knew he would. It was a penis measuring contest.
Boom. So he's basically like the Haneyacks. They are now, first they accused Brian Norman of having something to hide. That's for starters. They basically said, why don't you do the test? What do you mean you have to go on vacation? As if somebody fighting in November and just fought in Japan, they're not entitled to, in their personal life, before they start camp, they're not entitled to spend time with their friends, family, and loved ones and go on vacation. See, this is what I told you about the Haneyacks, bro. The Haneyacks and the Haneyacks content creators, they don't live in the real world. Like, now it's suspicious because a man, before a big fight, is trying to do something, get something in for himself, and go on a vacation, right? And the thing that looks so horrible for the Haneys and the Haneyacks, right, is the fact that before the Ryan Garcia fight, I never heard this advocacy for stringent drug testing and VADA this and PEDs until the Haneys got burned by Ryan Garcia. That's why he's saying they're acting like battered wives or whatever, battered chicks, because now you're paranoid. And because Ryan got one over on you with the Osterine, now it's everybody else's problem. And ultimately, you're pretty much blaming everybody else for it. And everybody else got to face the wrath. Hey, I like what he said also. He said, Turkey's contract, we're only supposed to do 8 weeks of training or of testing. We doubled that to appease you and keep it flowing, 16 weeks. But if we wanted to really be a stickler, we only had to do what Turkey said. So this is something the Haneys have decided. Even though Brian Norman at welterweight is the WBO champion, the Haneys feel like, oh, we get to control the board. We're the A side, Wampty. Again, this looks bad because usually it's the champion calling the shots. And even if it's not, because someone else happens to be the A side, then usually the A side demands are they're not like this. Put it that way. They're not like this. They're normal A side demands. Like, nobody's mad that they're asking for testing, but again, I said this in my past video. Why, if what Brian Norman is saying is true, and Turkey's test only called for 8 weeks of training, if that was a problem, why was it not a problem day one? Before the putting the shirt over B Norm's head, before the press conference, why did you let it get to all of these things like a press conference and pushing and shoving and ring interviews and all that if you were not happy with the actual deal points and the amount of testing? So it's clear as day to see what the Haneys are doing, and it looks bad because, again, Bill Haney is creating all these small fires, and the Normans are firefighters, and they're putting them out. Like, you won't be able to run from this fade. You will not be able to play these games. We're going to play with you, and obviously within reason, where you're not getting out of this. Like, oh, he didn't want to take tests and then put suspicion on our name and then dip. So they're playing the game. And I'm glad that Brian Norman Sr. said his son initially was like, I don't want to give in to what they said. I'm glad that they did, because this puts out the small fire and pacifies the latest Haney excuse and the Haney-X excuse to the point where we should still get this fight, right? However, playing games with people like this, if they didn't, then they just put all this like suspicion on your name. So if you don't do the extra testing, now people will run with, oh, he has something to hide. So all things considered, it seems like the best move was to just concede and keep the fight afloat. Beyond that, money. Why mess up your bag if you know you're clean and you still want to fight and you want to try to knock his head off? Why let an extra inconvenience like more testing, why let it get in the way of your bag to the point where the fight crumbles or something?
Shall I say? That's all it was. That's all it was. Do you think different now that Brian Norman signed up? You feel them? No, these were the people who already did not like Brian Norman from the start, waiting in the dark, waiting in the hate, waiting in the silent, looking for anything to latch on to negative against Brian Norman Jr. and to multiply it and capitalize it. But again, he ain't got nothing to hide. It's a like I keep saying, it's a compliment to say he's on PED. That's a compliment. to say you don't PEDs, and then you gonna come out the other side of your mouth and say he ain't fought nobody, he ain't knocked out nobody. So why is he on PEDs then? He doing exactly what he was supposed to do, right? Make up your mind. But it's all good.
Body. I'm really enjoying the Normans, how they get down on the interviews. They've been doing some good interviews, bringing up some very, very good points. So in case you didn't really get the correlation, B Norm just said something which I always stress on my channel. People trying to play both sides. Like, you can't be a blood and a Crip. You got to pick, pick a side, got to keep it there, switching up, and then just looking weird. Yeah, like Nip say. You can't play both sides of that coin. You know what I mean? If you're doing a coin flip, you like heads and tails. No, you got to pick one, right? And what we see in boxing all the time is people trying to have their cake and eat it too, right? Where they'll say this, but then they'll say this. Like, which one is it? Like, some things you got to take a stance, especially as a man. So what he's saying is, y'all keep saying my son is knocking out scrubs, and Devin Haney's doing interviews talking about, I don't know anybody he's fought, trying to denigrate the victories. I don't know any of the names. He fought a bunch of cupcakes, a bunch of nobodies. So the point that he's making, Norman's making, is if that's the case, we fight nobodies. Why do we need to be on PEDs if our resume is not adequate and we're not fighting nobody? That's a great point. That's a great point. Why do you need to go above and beyond and cheat, right, when you naturally have power, right, if you're fighting nobodies? Doesn't even make sense. And if he's fighting nobodies, which he'll say later in this interview, if he's fighting nobodies, then why do you need double testing, extra testing, 18 weeks of testing for the man you said, I'm levels above, he ain't beat nobody, he's not knocking out nobody of note, and he's levels behind me? So if all these things are true and you believe that, why do you need all these special demands for this man?
Why Brian only got to get this treatment? Look, according to Devin Haney, he ain't knocked out nobody. He ain't beating nobody. He ain't did nothing. So I'm confused about why Brian only got to get that treatment. You feel me? Mm-hmm. So now for him to sign up, everybody else apologize, bow down. You feel what I'm saying? For the ones who was talking their trash, for the other ones who told us that we should have stood our ground, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Because we ain't got nothing to hide. Like I said, they some battered women. There's some battered women, and sometimes you gotta, rub the head or pat the back. You gotta baby them alone. You feel what I'm saying? So if that's what y'all need to do to get babied alone, we gonna do that. We know the fans we gotta baby them alone too. You know what I'm saying? So we know his little girly fans that were looking for anything to hold on to. We gotta baby y'all alone too. You feel me? Do y'all have anything else to say? As well. Double. Contract is only 8 weeks. We agreed to double.
So you guys agreed to 16.
We agreed to 16. And then he wanted 18. He wanted 2 more. Like, what's the difference? Make no sense.
Hey, bro, I don't care what no one's talking about. This don't look right. He said the Turkey's contract said y'all fight for this amount of money as the champions, blah, blah, blah. These are the terms. 8 weeks of stringent VADA testing. That wasn't good enough for the Haneys, so they doubled it, 16 weeks. Then he says we agreed to 16 weeks, and then he said add 2 more weeks to that, to 18 weeks. Bro, this is like somebody, I worked in sales previously. You can't play these games with a salesman, right? A natural born hustler. Yee. Here's what I'm talking about. Like in sales, I could identify very quickly who's a window shopper. Ninja, you a window shopper. Mad at I think I know why. Ninja, you a ninja shopper. Bro, you a window shopper. Right? Well, I could identify my job and me and my paycheck relies on being able to sell as a salesman. So I learned to identify very quickly. We used to call them time vampires, right? Some people come in, act like they want to buy, act like they got tons of money, but they were really time vampires. They would just talk. They want to see samples. They want this and that. They want you to call around, and they're not really trying to buy nothing. You know what I mean? Versus some people really got bread, and it was usually a smooth, hey, I'm trying to get this flooring. I'm trying to get this carpet installed. Oh, $10,000? Say less. Pick out the carpet you want. I want the thicker padding. You know, I want y'all to install it. Boom, boom, done. But the time vampires be wasting your time and just asking a bunch of questions and acting like they want to buy. They don't really want to buy. This is what it reminds me of. You know what I mean? Because you keep like almost like moving the goalpost, right? Where it's like you agreed to 8 weeks, you let it get to a press conference, announce the fight, then you throw up a fit. No, I want more, 16 weeks. Then they agree to that, but say, hey, I'm going on vacation. Let's start August 1st. Fight's not till November. So there's plenty of time for you to test me. And you're like, no, what are you trying to get out of your system? You're microdosing, blah, blah, blah. Okay, we can start earlier. And then they're like, now add 2 more weeks. Come on, bro. Like, if you really wanted to fight, like this looks bad, bro. Floyd Mayweather, he didn't play these types of games, right? All he wanted was Manny Pacquiao to take the test. Him and his team would have outlined how much testing. Pacquiao signed. Once everybody signs, we good, fight on. So this looked horrible for the Haneys. Horrible. Now in this part, Brian Norman exposes the Haneys, saying that they're reaching out to content creators, trying to get them to put smear campaigns out on his son. And they're reaching out to content creators like, hey, make a video about this. Listen.
Very scared. And I think that was just for his fans to latch on to put some negative press out there against Brian Norman. That's all it was. It was he was literally, I know this for a fact. I don't know, you did. He didn't send you the, because he did it to other people. He didn't send you the screenshot and tell you to post that. Nah. He was sending content creators, because you know I deal with a lot of people. He was sending content creators a post of his tweet, a picture, a screenshot of his tweet, and told them to do a video on it. Oh yeah. Do y'all hear that? Newsflash. Bill Haney, when he put out that tweet about VADA, he sent it out to content creators that he deal with, and he told them to do a news story on it. No, don't say. This is before the yes, no. This is, he just put it out there it was a smear campaign. Max, who's playing,
bro. And Bill has a history of doing this. Remember when Gervonta Davis? First of all, Bill Haney used to do it to me before he don't mess with me, right? So he used to send me texts and stuff. So I already know this is true, right? Send little texts, send texts of T.O. smoking hookah, tell people to make videos about it. Like, you the police. Like, you sending people T.O. Fimo smoking hookah and sending the video out to content creators, and now everybody got it. Like, you leaking the video. That's facts. I don't lie. I don't cap. A lot of these Haney content, they be cap. They be capping. I don't cap. Bill Haney does that, right? Also, famously, when Tank got arrested for, I think, DV stuff, right? Some girl accusation, whatever, with the baby mama, the earlier ones. Bill was sending out the mugshot, Tank's mugshot, telling people to make videos. And notice the Haney content creators making videos quick. Make a video, oh, Tank got jammed up, oh, right? Smear campaign. So Brian Norman is not lying here. This is what Bill Haney does. And to be like a person who's like, oh, I'm from the town, I'm from Oakland, Deep East Oakland, yee, and I'm a street dude, 50 and on the street. What street dude is putting cases on people and leaking information now, and like not even like leaking it and telling people, hey, say something bad about this person. Like what part of gangster is that? What part of the street code is that? You guys let me know what streets you from, where that's what people do. And like try to get people jammed up, especially for someone, a brother who said he was jammed up in the system at a point in time. It's kind of weird that you're broadcasting other people's like L's and like, you know, things like that. But then when Devin Haney, the girl, said his wife says that he is absentee on Father's Day, and he pushed me when I was preggo, you're not sharing that. So when it's about your son, you're not sharing it. Let it be T.O., let it be Ryan. He did a whole, remember, he did the whole thing on Ryan Garcia talking about it was like a timeline of Ryan Garcia, every quote he said, his baby mama got a restraining order, and he listed it out. I made post about it, so you guys know about this. So this is what Bill Haney does. And again, if you're very confident, you usually don't have to do all this extra stuff, right? So there's that.
I gotta remember, I know people too, Bill. I know people mess with me too, Bill. They gonna tell me. I know what's going on, Bill. Bill calling around. He listen to me. He's scraping the bottom. He's scraping the fence. He calling around trying to get phone calls. People who sparred us. Seeing they got videos of sparring us. Like I said, put content creators on notice. Say, look, I need you to do a story about this, and to ask why he won't take the test. Or no, not even why he won't, because the first story wasn't about why he won't. It was the question. I can't remember which one he sent out. It was the last one he just did, but that was the day he was telling us to do it now and not August the 1st. The one where he said that why are we requesting to do it August the 1st? Mind you, that was known July the 10th, Bill. Why you not telling everybody the truth? Why you not telling everybody that's not even in the contract, Bill? Everybody was in the term sheet. Mind you, I'm learning this late because I had no clue about what was going on. I had no clue because VADA testing was nothing to talk about. Drug testing was nothing to worry about. There was nothing to shed light on. Why was this not shed light on with Jose Ramirez, Bill?
Haney's down bad, people. It is what it is. Like, I'm all for trash talk. I'm all for like gamesmanship. But if you got to do all this extra stuff, then it implies that you're not confident. You don't really want to fight. Like, okay, here's the thing. You put out everything you want in a fight. Before it goes public, you pretty much got everything you want. You don't come with press conferences and face-offs and interviews, then talk about, oh, I want more testing, but give me some more. You know, you turn into Busta Rhymes. Give me some more. Y'all ninjas had enough? Give me some more. Like, it don't even make sense. Why did you let it get to this point if you weren't happy? You know what I mean? And I'm sure that Turkey has like term sheets, and this can all be verified and proven. And then they're playing ball with you. It was the Turkey terms, he said 8 weeks. They doubled it. And then now you're still like, oh, start when we tell you to start, even though you're going on vacation. It's like, it looked like you're trying to get out the fight. Like you're doing more that could deconstruct the fight as opposed to like, man, the stuff you're saying, it don't add up. We'll put it that way. Devin Haney doing interviews like, Brian Norman, I'm levels above him. Brian Norman, he's knocking out people whoop-de-doo because he ain't fighting nobody. Who are any of these guys? I don't know any of his opponents. Cool. You're levels above him. Brian Norman's power is overrated. Brian Norman is fighting nobodies. So why do you have to do anything extra for a person who's basically a bum? That's what you're saying. You're basically saying that you have nothing to worry about, but then you're worrying about things. Makes no sense. Like you can't make it sound like, oh, it's like taking candy from a baby. But then, like, if somebody said, I'll give you $1 million, if you said taking that lollipop out that baby's hand is easy work. And then someone said, okay, I'll give you $1 million to take that lollipop from that baby. You would do it. It's an easy meal ticket. You just got a meal from easy work. Why? Who wouldn't do that? Especially when you said it would be easy, right? Or anything, any challenge. It could be a backflip. If you say I could do a backflip easy off of this roof without hurting myself or breaking my neck, and someone said, here's $100K, do the backflip off the roof. And you're like, nah, man, I don't want to really do it right now. Man, I just ate. No, you're scared, bro. You're scared. Because if you knew that all your life's teachings have readied you for these moments and you were confident you could do this, you would just do it, especially when money's on the line. So the fighters are probably getting paid good because Turkey overpays fighters, right? And you're doing stuff that don't really promote the fight. This is not promoting the fight by making it look like your opponent is a cheater. You're asking people to buy the fight or a subscription for the fight, right? But then you're trying to make your opponent look like he sucks. He ain't fought nobody. He's overrated and he's a cheat. This is what you're making it seem like. So why would that make someone want to reach in their pocket and reach in their wallet? So again, like I've said, Bill Haney, he do too much and is not conducive. And if Devin Haney loses this fight to Brian Norman, he's going to be in a bad spot. Put it that way. This is a must-win situation, must-win territory, because if you were not, like, you're still holding on to, I'm undefeated based on a technicality because Ryan popped, and like I was undisputed youngest, you're still holding on to these, like, you're shining old trophy, right? And with that, you are able to kind of get away with a couple of things, like I want more testing and I'll pull out, these types of things. If you lose, especially if it's devastating, you're not going to be able to call these shots against other future people. Like, that's boxing. When your star power fades, it fades. And you're not able to just like call all the shots. You got to have and keep your stock high to do that. So this is, as far as I'm concerned, must-win territory for Devin Haney. Let go. We unpacked. Live streaming can be tough, which is why I use StreamYard. Click the link in the description for StreamYard, which is an awesome tool that enables you to set up your stream with ease of use. Get great results with live streaming. It's what I use. Stream to social media with ease with StreamYard. Live streaming is here to stay. Engage with your audience using StreamYard. Great way to reach out to your audience and connect. So you need a tool that can do that.